Welcome to the 2026 World Cup knockout stage review. So, yeah, starting off the round of 32, we had Germany versus Paraguay, France versus Sweden, South Africa versus Canada, Netherlands versus Morocco, Portugal versus Croatia, Spain versus Austria, USA versus Bosnia, and Belgium versus Senegal. Brazil versus Japan, Ivory Coast versus Norway, Mexico versus Ecuador, England versus DR Congo, Australia versus Cape Verde, Australia versus Egypt, Switzerland versus Algeria, and Colombia versus Ghana. Now, starting off in the round of 32, Paraguay became the first ever team to beat Germany in a penalty shootout at the World Cup because I guess Germany are just terrible at football now. They can't do anything properly anymore. Whole 2014 team is in champ. The whole 2014 team is gone. It's now just a shit team. France beat Sweden 3-0 because their attack is too good and should be illegal. Canada scored a last-minute goal to beat South Africa to win their first ever knockout game. Morocco beat Netherlands on penalties, even though they missed a lot of penalties because the Netherlands missed more penalties. Portugal beat Croatia 2-1, but they got quite lucky actually because the Croatia's goal getting disallowed for the hair is bullshit, but whatever. Spain beat Austria 3-0 because Spain are too good and overpowered. USA beat Bosnia 2-0, but Balogun got a red card, which I think it's a bullshit red card, but it is a red card. But then, I'll go through what happened later in the Belgium game afterwards. Belgium beat Senegal 3-2 because Senegal did a Spurs impression. Brazil beat Japan 2-1 because Japan can't win a knockout game for some reason. Like they actually scored first against Brazil, but then Brazil scored two goals and Martinelli scored in the 90th minute, so Japan lost. Yeah, maybe in 2030 we'll see Japan go far. Norway beat Ivory Coast 2-1 with Erling Haaland scoring. Mexico beat Ecuador 2-0, finally winning a knockout game. England beat DR Congo 2-1 despite going behind quite early on. And Argentina beat Cape Verde 3-2, but they needed extra time against Cape Verde. Cape Verde genuinely a top five team at this World Cup. They were so good against every opponent they played. Only team Spain couldn't beat. Egypt beat Australia on penalties, winning their first ever knockout game. Also, I'm surprised it's taken Egypt this long to get to a knockout, but yeah. Switzerland beat Algeria 2-0, and Colombia beat Ghana 1-0. So in the round of 16, we had Paraguay versus France, Canada versus Morocco, Portugal versus Spain, USA versus Belgium, Brazil versus Norway, Mexico versus England, Argentina versus Egypt, and Switzerland versus Colombia. Now, Paraguay lost to France 1-0 because Paraguay were more interested in fighting the France players and punching them instead of football. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being competitive in South American football. It's just there is a limit to it. Thank you very much. Same problem with Argentina and Uruguay. Just Uruguay kind of went under the radar this tournament, even though they were also dirty as hell because they were so bad and got eliminated so early. Um, Canada played well in the first half against Morocco and could have scored, but they didn't, and then Morocco punished them for it. Uh, Portugal had probably their best game of the tournament against Spain, and they were still comfortably beaten by Spain. Just Spain couldn't score, and it took them until the 90th minute. Now, Donald Trump called FIFA and told them to reverse Balogun's red card. For some reason, FIFA listened, and then it was useless anyway because Belgium beat them 4-1. Yeah, embarrassing for the US. Uh, Brazil and Norway have played 5 games against each other, and Brazil still have not won any of them because Norway beat them to knock them out. Mexico couldn't get past the 10-man England, so Mexico are out also, all hosts eliminated. And Argentina, Egypt were 2-0 up against Argentina, and then a couple of bullshit calls went against them, and then Egypt didn't manage the game properly, and they decided to drop back instead of continuing to press Argentina, so Argentina ended up scoring 3 goals. And Switzerland beat Colombia on penalties in probably the worst game of the tournament. So in the quarterfinals, we had France versus Morocco, Spain versus Belgium, Norway versus England, and Argentina versus Switzerland. And France beat Morocco 2-0, and Morocco were totally useless that whole game. France was so good. Now, Belgium became the first team to score against Spain and actually could have won. They were quite good actually, but they lost because Lamens did a Lamens. Norway lost to England 2-1 because Sorloth didn't pass to Haaland, so it's all Sorloth's fault, and his citizenship needs to be revoked immediately. And also England scored from a cable. The ball getting deflected off like a cable in the air or something. IDK. Like honestly, I think Norway would have beaten Argentina in the semifinal. Argentina beat Switzerland 3-1 because Switzerland were actually outplaying Argentina, but then Embolo decided he wanted to win the Oscars instead of winning the World Cup and got a red card for diving. Now in the semifinals, we had France versus Spain and England versus Argentina. And Spain beat France 2-0, even though France had the best attack in the tournament, mostly because they got overran in midfield and the attackers could not get service at all. And England scored first against Argentina, and then Thomas Tuchel decided to sub on 6 defenders and tried to park the bus, and then didn't press Argentina while parking the bus anyway. So Messi just had like 1 light year of space to generate infinite crosses, and then Argentina scored 2 goals. In the third place game, we had England somehow beat France 6-4 after being 4-0 up at halftime, mostly because neither team cared about defending and they were just trying to score as many goals as possible. But yeah, honestly, the third place game should have been the final because the final was Spain versus Argentina, and it was probably one of the worst World Cup finals of all time. Spain won 1-0. Argentina was so shit the whole time. They didn't get a shot on target until the 117th minute of extra time. And Argentina were honestly lucky they didn't lose 5-0 just because Spain's finishing was dog shit, unfortunately. And also, Argentina were more interested in playing sumo wrestling than actual football because they just kept attacking the Spain players. Like they got 7 yellow cards and 1 red card, and honestly, that felt generous because there were a lot of fouls that Argentina committed that were not given as fouls because the Argentina plays so well. Not just Argentina, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay, and like the other South American countries play so dirty that like the baseline for a South American player to get a yellow card is just so much higher than it is for everyone else. Man, yeah, honestly, disgraceful from Argentina. Argentina only played easy teams throughout the entire time, and then got found out in the final when they played against a real team like Spain. But yeah, congratulations to Spain for winning the World Cup. They win custody of Hatsune Miku because apparently that's a thing now. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye. Holy shit.